Hey gamers, I'm Hater115 and welcome to Star Citizen Leaks. Today, we'll be going over 3 topics: the future of scanning, Crusader, and some general information about the Talon. First off, we're going to talk about something a little bit juicy: UI updates. The following set of images are mock-ups done by Crusader, a lovely SC Leaks community member with a penchant for excellent graphical design. We'll look closely at this particular photo to go over some of the finer details. This particular version of the UI allowed the player to retrieve the following information: name, which allows the player to see the name of the NPC; contract, which allows the player to see the contract name related to the NPC being scanned; affiliations, which allows the player to see the group and NPCs associated with; crime stat, which lists the crime stat of the NPC; last sighting. Currently, this function lists the location of the NPC. I speculate this would be whatever an NPC was last scanned by a comm array. Reward, likely the reward for any bounties on the selected target. Bounty hunters assigned, lists possible competing hunters for you or yourself if you are the hunter. Crime stat, no clue why it's listed twice, possible placeholder. This is not a mistake on the part of Crusader. Last known vehicle, states the name of the vehicle last driven by an NPC. Similar speculation with my last sighting claim that this will likely take whether or not you were sighted by a comm array into account. This unknown badge placement here is something that we're going to assume is a badge of the enlisted group of the NPC. Delivery location, possibly either the destination of an NPC or wherever you gotta deliver the sucker after you bag him. Equipment, the current equipment on an NPC. Think guns, armors, etc. blah blah blah. Apart from these listed stats is the citizen number listed in the center, your distance to the target, and this little percentage bar to the left here. Some speculation on this bar is that if you remember back to the 2.6 Evocati days, there was a test on-foot scanning functionality which used a target bar to determine the distance you scanned on foot. This is it likely returning. Now, to talk about what this UI even means, as of around 3 or 4 months ago when I had received these images from one of my sources, these were all in-game. Everything worked alongside a test mission, the dealer. Basically, you were tasked to search for a man out of a crowd who was associated with a drug ring. This early UI essentially allowed the player to give every NPC a visual search to determine the culprit, a drug dealer. What this test UI allows for the future is more depth in future bounty hunting missions. Not always will your target be in the middle of an asteroid field, ready to just get pot-shotted. Sometimes they'll be prowling the town, having themselves a little bit of a party. This UI, of course, is likely greatly changed since these initial early explorations, so take everything shown today at face value. Moving on, we're going to go over some of the more recent topics. You might have heard of a certain delay that shocked quite a few. Let it be known that this was more expected than you'd think, with hands being on deck for Pyro and some of the other Stantum system environmental updates, such as the Grimhex touch-up, the Microtech New Babbage extension, as well as the new stations and Aaron Halo. An update to a planet which would theoretically add no extra gameplay value was on low priority compared to the other content. If you really think about it, the only possible new gameplay expansion available would be Gas Giant Traversal. Anywho, let me give you a bit of a peek inside how this stuff is actually developed. The environmental wing of CIG is split up into teams of around a dozen or so members each. A flagship landing zone only receives just one of these teams. The team responsible for Arisen has only recently gotten their hands back on deck to start up Arisen and Company, but progress wasn't great before the pause. This isn't to say progress didn't exist. The project was in a white boxing stage. It's just that this is going to take a lot of time before it hits release ready. New Babbage, according to my sources, had taken a dozen or so artists about 8 months to create, which you may ask, that lead to a Q4 2021 Q1 release, correct? No. Arisen had been stated to be even greater technical challenge than even ArcCorp because of a mixture of technical challenges regarding a floating city and wanting to hit the new Babbage standards set within the most recent city. With these dates, they had theoretically decided a Q1, Q2 split release would be a good idea. Now you may be asking, why are you saying theoretically? Well, I also want to touch upon the split between the developers and the community management team. It's good to realize that the community managers don't exactly know everything, nor do the developers. Something the developers I spoke to didn't know was that CIG was going to announce these Q1, Q2 splits. Nothing further to really speak about there, I just thought it was a bit of an interesting detail. Our last topic regards a certain avian ship that had just been recently confirmed by CIG themselves, the Esperia Talon. Don't have an image to share today, however, that should be fixed in the coming days by CIG proper. Just wanted to give a bit more information regarding whether or not you'll see it too soon, and just about the ship in general. Everything from Sitcon still supplies, Dvaran Light Fighter, meant to be an escort ship for the Prowler, Not unlike the Prowler it hails from, it sports an all-black color scheme. The image shared by CIG proper earlier was likely a tease of a paint scheme exclusive to concierge members. Unlike the concept shown at SitCon, I've been told it resembles none of them exactly. We'll go on a little bit more about that in a second. Unlike the Rock, which we were able to confirm a price for, $55 in Warbond, I was unable to receive a price for the Talon. From these same sources, I was told that the ship was shown off a bit too early, not days however, weeks. According to my sources, it leans towards flight ready, but none of them know for sure other than it had a higher development work done for it than a simple mock-up model, typical to a concept sale. Now to ramp things up, a bit of a visual description of the Talon for y'all straight from the source. For the Talon, take the bottom one, give it the nose of the Prowler and the wings of the one on top. Make it look sleeker, that's basically the Talon. The front of the Talon kinda looks like the face of a predatory bird, hence why I'm mentioning the Prowler nose. These, of course, referencing the images shown at CitizenCon, which I will have a graphic demonstrating those images here. Anywho, that wraps up today's show, New UI. Do you believe that I'll be able to flesh out a current bounty hunting mission set? What about Crusader? Are you disappointed? I know one thing for sure, I'm excited for the future. Stick around with us next time where we'll go over the abandoned ship concept, the Misk Dart. Thanks to our Patreons on Patreon for the kind donations that make the show and our Discord server's giveaways possible. As is usually the case, we'll be shouting out our $10 roll, Leaky Pipe Producers, if you'd like to have your name at the end here, or get access to early content and access to a super special secret Discord channel, be sure to pledge today. AA001, Fox Nix, Professor Mango, Regula Tim, Reptar, Robert M, Sorston, The Doctor, and Boobbot. Thanks for watching.